Hi, everyone, and welcome to the McRae's Growth Challenge podcast, Insight with B2B and manufacturing leaders, where we uncover their stories, strategies, and solutions to overcoming growth challenges in their industries. I'm your host, Maria, and in each episode, we will dive deep with founders, CEOs, and industry experts to explore how they scale, innovate, and lead in today's competitive landscape. So let's get started. Today we have Daniel from Roman Stone. Nice to meet you. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. Daniel, why don't you introduce yourself, your role at Roman Stone, and the company itself?
Okay. Yeah, my name is Daniel Murray. I'm the president and CEO of Roman Stone. At Roman Stone, we provide strategic infrastructure solutions underground mainly in the precast concrete industry. So to expand on that a little bit, we move water, we move electricity. Our structures are underground. Most people don't see them. They handle the infrastructure to make America work, basically.
That's awesome. That's a pretty big responsibility.
Yes, it's a large responsibility, and there's not a lot of room for error, and there's usually not a lot of time to get it done.
Who would you say are your main clientele?
Usually, we have a couple different sectors that we work in. We do work with a couple of very large utility companies when they're expanding their infrastructure or replacing their infrastructure. And then also the construction industry in itself, when you have new construction sites, new infrastructure being placed in the ground, new roads. We cover all of those sectors.
Okay, yeah, big job. So obviously, as things are shifting in the industry with clients increasingly demanding faster turnarounds, higher quality, custom engineering solution, how has that affected your operations, engineering, and basically logistics strategies?
All of that is affected greatly. When you turn an order over, you have a commercial team out there working hard to bring orders in. Customers demand results quickly. So we've set a couple targets internally when it comes to quoting. Our quotes are turned around in under 48 hours every time. When it comes to once a quote has been accepted and it turns into orders. If it's standard product line, we try to get the drawings out in under 24 hours. If it's a custom product line, we try to get it out in under a week. So that puts a lot of pressure on the internal folks and a lot of pressure on making sure we have the right systems in place to help them be able to perform their jobs. Obviously, that runs right into the manufacturing. So having a good production system so our production folks know what's coming, they can plan for it well ahead of the days that they have to produce it. And then into transportation, a lot of communication and a lot of systems go into letting the transportation folks know that the products are coming off the lines and they need to be to the customer on certain dates. So it puts a lot of stress on a lot of people, and it makes us have to work to create the systems that will help us to do that and support our folks.
How has AI and technology been integrated into all of these systems, which I'm assuming that's part of the reason why you've been able to speed things up, right? But like, where specifically are you using AIs and technologies to help you speed up these processes?
We're not really heavily into AI right now. We've been starting to work on it because a lot of there's not a whole lot of specific industry specific software. We usually have to create it. So we have to take a lot of time and form our processes, and then we have to go find a software developer to help us design the programs that we need. So we're starting to see some AI now for instance, in modeling of mix designs. So when we're creating products, they have to be certain strengths in certain days. So in 3 days, it has to reach 5,000 PSI so it can get on the road and get down to the customer. We've started using AI in developing those mix designs to tell us, one, how it's going to mix, two, how it's going to perform once we have it in the molds, how quickly it's going to dry, and how quickly we can get it onto the site.
Okay, that sounds like you guys have to develop it. Do you develop that in-house, or do you usually outsource the creation of that?
We usually outsource it, but we have to work closely with the developers because there's not a lot of, a lot of precast industry knowledge out there. There's a handful of people that know what they're doing, but bringing AI into that, the software and the software folks usually don't know what we're trying to do. So we have to be heavily involved, and it's a pretty rigorous process.
Yeah. Is there, what's usually, I know that right now you're trying to get the quotes out really, really quick. What was the cycle before you made these changes? What did that look like?
That could be anywhere from a week to 2 weeks, sometimes depending on the complexity of the project. Sometimes these projects are hundreds or even thousands of pieces that are going to the contractors. So we've actually have integrated, I guess there's some AI that I forgot. We've integrated some takeoff software that we can put the plans through, and it just automatically spits out every piece of precast on that job site. So the estimators within 10 or 15 minutes, the estimators know what they have to quote. And that went from, probably a day of work, maybe 2 days of work, down to 15 minutes before he knows exactly what he's got to quote.
That's amazing. Previously, before you used all these tools, did you find that you were losing on opportunities if the turnaround was too slow?
Absolutely. Yeah. When, in the construction industry, you don't always know what you're coming up against. Maybe you thought we had a good plan, and the contractor opens up a trench and he sees something that wasn't there before, didn't know was there. So we have to be very dynamic and be able to make changes on the fly. So yeah, absolutely.
When it comes to, I guess, attracting new clients, right? Do you find that there is a lot of competition where you are for attracting new clients specifically?
Yeah, in the New York area where we're located, there is a fair amount of competition. Correct.
How do you guys stand out besides, right now at least you speed up the process, but in general, how do you guys stand out?
I think it depends on the industry, but in certain industries, offshore wind being one of those, or marine construction, we stand out as one of the best because we brought those products to the market well before anyone else. When it comes to standard infrastructure products, we have to really rely on our customer service and our innovation to help us to stand out. Price will take you so far, but you have to have good quality. You have to have on-time deliveries, and your customer service is paramount to that.
Is there new type of clients that you're trying to attract now with, how things are getting speed up and quality and stuff like that? Are there new type of clientele that you are considering going after?
Yeah, I wouldn't classify it as new clientele, but I would classify it as new industry. So, we were in 2023, 2024, we were highly involved in the offshore wind industry off of Long Island and the East Coast. We were winning pretty much every job on the Eastern Seaboard because we brought those products to market about a year before anyone else did. Obviously, with the current political climate, that's kind of slowed down. So we've actually, last year, middle of 2024, we kind of saw that coming. So we made a pivot to the data center space, which, that's
Okay.
booming right now, right? So
Yes.
we developed several products last year that are actually going to market. I'm actually working on a press release right now, releasing those into the marketplace specifically for airports, data centers, and large infrastructure builds like factories and so forth. So we have pivoted to that space along with our what we call our core product lines as well, which is the typical everyday infrastructure products.
Okay. So yeah, data centers, such a hot topic now. All this data we have, but nowhere to store it. It goes on fire, basically burning buildings down. There's a lot of issues with that all over the country, right?
Yes.
Is part of you guys going after these new industries the reason why you have invested in rebranding and trying to basically position yourself in a different type of way marketing wise?
Yeah, absolutely. Precast has been around forever. There's a lot of precast companies out of there, but when we when I came into this business, we wanted to take it a different direction. We want to be known for something. So we really started working on product development and innovation for sustainability. So this year, in the next several months, we will be launching our new product lines that go into the data center and infrastructure market, as well as we've developed over the past 6 months to a year, we've developed a carbon neutral concrete, which actually does not exist in the market today. So putting those two together, we believe we're positioning ourselves as a sustainability champion, as a more environmental friendly producer, to be able to conquer a lot of these challenges. And then we've also redesigned a lot of our products for speed. So there's a lot of our products now traditionally would be installed, in say 3-4 hours. We've done a lot of research and done a lot of redesign to be able to have these products installed, and some of them in under 2 minutes.
This sounds like a huge undertake, launching all of these, revamping it. What has been the most challenging part? Is it the idea generation, the execution, the which part has been like the most challenging in all of this, in all of these changes?
I think the biggest challenge to me has been the engineering, getting these things through an engineering review, and then getting them into a first article, so getting the first ones produced, and then having them tested. So a lot of our testing with these new products, we have to take to universities to get them reviewed by their engineering departments to make sure they meet all ASTM standards. It's not a grueling process, it's just a lengthy process. And then figuring out from concept through what I just spoke about, and then when and how are you going to launch these products? I mean, at every step of the way, you have to have a plan. And I think, coming up with those plans and keeping our teams focused on those plans, in addition to doing their day jobs and keeping the business running, has been the biggest challenge.
How are you taking care of your people to make sure that they don't burn out?
Well, we are trying to keep a close eye on them, but I think the biggest thing we try to do is ask them on a continual basis, what would help you? And that's where we kind of get into the new tools. If I could have, for instance, with the estimators, if I had a takeoff tool, that would cut a half a day. I could take one half of my day and cut it back to 20 minutes, and that gives me, another 3.5 hours a day. So going through those methodically in each department, which is a challenge in itself, and figuring out what they need, and then either going and finding and getting what they need or building what they need to help them out, is one way that I believe that we've helped them to be able to get through this.
That's fantastic. And now that you have, you're taking care of your people, you have figured out the process of actually creating the product and now launching it into the market and offering something that is quite new, being, taking into consideration the environment and being more environmentally friendly and more efficient and all that stuff. What are the intentions or the plans marketing wise to now being able to see a return on your investment?
Well, right now we're working on with a marketing development firm to come up with the names for the products. Coming in and really working for a smaller company, I've actually never had to do this. I'm used to working for bigger companies where you just say, here's our product, get this figured out. So each one of those steps has been a real journey. But we're working with some marketing firms to develop the names for the products, to trademark the products. That way, once we launch them, we're ready to go. So it's definitely been a challenge and taken a lot of time.
Yeah, it's very tough, that whole process, especially if you come from a place where you had a marketing department in-house. Now you're sitting in front of somebody who needs to get information from you, and it's not so straightforward. Could be very time consuming, right?
Yeah, correct. And then determining who you're marketing to. We believe marketing to a data center developer is totally different than marketing to a contractor that's installing underground utilities. It may be the same practice, but those two end users are two different two different businesses. They look at things totally different. So being able to try to capture all that into one marketing campaign has been challenging.
Is there any part of these new marketing efforts that you're most excited about?
I'm really excited about launching the new products and seeing those go into the ground. I think that kind of, you have pictures or videos of your new products going into the ground being used by customers. I think that makes all the hard work worth it to everybody. I think they see, what started as an idea is now become a reality and is actually helping people be able to get their work done faster and help a company create the infrastructure that they need to run their data center or to run their new utility plant, their new power plant, whatever that may be.
That's amazing. So I'm getting the sense you guys are so early on with these new products, right? But have you guys also thought about how will you be attracting new clients towards these new products, or you're not quite there yet?
Well, I think we're thinking about that. Right now we're working with a couple really high-profile companies that I can't name here to get these products in the ground. We feel like once that kind of gets out there, that helps us. But yeah, I mean, we really need to think on how we continue to attract new customers, how we continue to get the word out about our products, and how we expand on that from our little location here in Bayshore, New York, to a national footprint, which is what this started as, is taking our small business here in New York and taking it to a national footprint. That is actually our end goal. So with all those things in mind, we're continuing to slowly and methodically move forward.
I love that. What's let's say 5 years from now, you being in the position for 2 years, undergoing all these changes, in 5 years from now, where would you want to see Roman Stone?
That's a tough question. I think being a well-known precaster, what we want to be known as a solutions provider. We make products that help with America's infrastructure, but what we really do is we solve problems for contractors. That is our number one issue, and that's what we want to be known for. Obviously, we want to be known for that on a wide scale. Every day when we come to work and then we talk to our teams, we want to be known as the company that people come to when they have a challenge, and that because they know we will solve it. And in 5 years from now, we want to be doing that across the United States, not just locally in New York.
Well, based on what you're building and the type of people that you have on your team, you definitely are building a strong foundation for then expansion and really awesome growth, right? Yeah,
that is the point. Yes.
That's the point, eh? That's the whole point. It's so important to build a strong foundation for all departments in order to experience rapid growth. And I don't know if you would agree with me. I see it on our end a lot, even just on the digital marketing side of things. And this is applicable to all really, I think, departments. In order to experience growth, there has to be solutions and process and systems that are a little bit painful to create in the beginning, but all of those funnels are so important because once the business comes in, you want to make sure that you're not fixing those little things that you could have in the beginning, right?
Absolutely. As the wheel speeds up, things get out of control really quick. So you have to make sure you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's before you grow that. Otherwise, it will be a complete disaster when you get that big. You will have people that have burnout. You will have people that will just get overwhelmed because you don't have the tools to manage the customers, to manage the data, and overall just the flow of work coming through the business.
Yeah. It sounds like you have, since the beginning of the role here with this company, you have been undertaking insane, type of changes. I think this is a big testament to you personally that you have a very growth mindset oriented type of view on how things should be done. Would you agree that there's a lot of companies out there that are a little bit more resistant to it, especially from their leadership, and that they are being left behind because of the way that they are closing themselves off to opportunities?
Absolutely. I mean, I can speak for my experience, even with the new products that we've developed that are, and that's a little self-serving in my opinion, but these products almost kind of revolutionize the way that things will be built. And as we introduce those to the developers, they're all for it and they love it. But you go a couple steps down to the contractors, they don't really like it because they're used to doing things in a certain way. And we've actually had to start working from both ends of the spectrum. We're working with the developer, giving them what they're wanting, which is a better product, a more efficient product to install, that they can move their project along a lot quicker. And then from the bottom up, from the contractors, going out and actually showing them. For instance, we were on site with a contractor a couple weeks ago, building a major data center, and they were running 40 feet a day. They were doing an install on fiber lines. They were doing 40 feet a day with 17 people, I think they had on that site. We came on site and in 30 minutes had 40 feet run with
Wow.
2 people with our product. So, but when they saw it, they just stopped and said, "Wow, I can't, we can't believe what just happened here." But they don't believe it unless you go show them. So it has been a challenge, and if people don't open their eyes and realize what's going on, they will get left behind. I do agree with that. They have to be forward thinking to where the industries are going, and everything's moving faster. Every day it's moving faster, and you got to be able to keep up with it. If you can't keep up, they just go to the next person.
Got it. So
But
it sounds like
if you can keep up, they continue to come back to you because you're solving their problem time after time after time, and then that's how you build a loyal customer base.
it sounds like in order for you guys to really get ahead of this is to do a lot more demonstrations, because there's nothing that can beat that live demonstration where you show them how much time you save them and labor right there on the spot. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, that demonstration, which was only our second one, kind of opened our eyes to the fact that we've got to get our message out, and we need to get it out quickly. But it has to be a very pointed message. It is about the products that we're developing and that we're trying to sell to them, but it's more about what can this product do for you? Because yes, it's self-serving in the fact that we're selling a product, but if they're saving 50% on their labor, then that helps them too. Not only does it help the contractors because they're saving on labor, or they're having, with the labor shortages, they're having less people to do more with now. And then it helps the developer because it keeps their timelines on track.
Yeah, absolutely. What is your guide? I know you guys are investing right now into, naming the products and bring them to market, but what is your plan to do more of those demonstrations?
It's more right now. We have a pretty good plan going into Q4 and then going into next year to start actually just going out and visiting the job sites, visiting the contractors, doing what we would call a lunch and learn sessions with them, and then the contractors. We're actually trying to hit all levels: contractors, developers, and then also the engineering firms. We feel like, right, if we want immediate results, the contractors will help us do that. If we want long-term results, we're going to go to the specifiers. So if we're hitting both of those at one time, it's a lot of work to do at one time, but that's our plan going forward. We've already started that, so we're hoping to see results from that.
That's awesome. Sounds very, very exciting. I feel like we're going to be seeing your product in a lot of places, whether we know it or not. I think it's going to be changing people's life, really, whether they know it or not.
I believe so as well.
That's awesome. Well, Daniel, thank you so much for your time today.
I thank you. I really appreciate it.